What's up, YouTube? Today I wanted to create my first video on a very important subject. A subject I feel that's not covered at all. It should be covered. It's how to avoid child support legally. I understand that this is a sensitive topic and a lot of people have different feelings on it. But yes, it can be done legally as long as you do it the right way. And I'm going to explain to you how to do that today. So it's actually not as complicated as you might think. It's all about timing, I should say. Timing is everything when it comes to this. It's like any other lawsuit. When somebody wants to take you to court, they have to serve you with papers. They have to serve you mostly by mail. Some jurisdictions serve you by county sheriff. Not a lot anymore though. Most of them serve you by mail. So what you need to do is you need to take your summons when you get it in the mail. Do not open it. Do not throw it in the garbage. Send it back, return to sender. Now, I know there are a lot of videos on here about how to send things back, return to sender, and, without accepting it legally. But the truth is, I've never had to do it any trickery. I've never had to do it any other way except just write return to sender on the envelope. And I never had a problem after that. So if you have one of those crazy baby mamas who is threatening to take you to court and she's going to get this and she's going to get that, when you receive that mail in the mail, just don't open it, write on the front of it, return to sender, and send it on its way right back to them. Without you being served, they cannot proceed against you in a case. And now, like I said, the key is timing. Don't go to court and then do this afterwards, because then it's too late. Once you step foot in the courtroom, then they have your social and they know it's you, you're done. What you need to do is you need to do this beforehand. You need to take your very first summons and do this. Write return to sender, put it in the mail, and send back. Now, the only way I would say this doesn't work is if you live in a very, very small town in, like, let's say Arkansas or Mississippi, where everybody knows each other and the mail people know for a fact who you are. Other than that, most people live in big cities nowadays. Anywhere else in the country, the USPS has no idea who lives where and who's who. So people move all the time. All you have to do is do as I said. Write on the envelope, return to sender, send back, and they won't even give it a second look. Now, I realize, like I said, that this is going to create havoc. Telling the truth always creates havoc in a country and especially a system like the family court system that's based on lies. Lies, deceit, and intimidation is what they try to do. And if you follow these instructions, you won't have a problem. And also, I'm not going to turn the comments onto this video because I don't want people having misinformation and writing that they tried it and it didn't work. It does work. I've done it for the last 13 years and it worked. And nobody has come after me since. Just send the first piece of mail back, return to sender, and you won't have a problem. Don't open it, and whatever you do, do not throw it away, because when you throw it away and it doesn't come back to them, they assume that you've been served. That's another corrupt process that they have. If they don't get anything back, then they assume that you've been served with it, even if you weren't. If they legitimately send it to the wrong house, and you don't have it sent back, or the person throws it in the garbage, they're going to consider that served for you. So what you need to do is make sure that it gets back in that mailbox, return to sender. Okay? So if anybody has a question for me, you can message me on my YouTube account. Just to let everybody know, like I said, this is not a debate. I am not going to be answering questions about, how slick it is and, how it doesn't work and what happens if, because this is something that's already I've been doing for 13 years and my wages are not garnished and I've never been to court and it's worked for the last 13 years. So this is not something you're going to change my mind about, and I'm not going to try to change your mind about it. This is information for people that want it. If you don't want it, don't do it. If you want it, then follow my instructions specifically and you'll be okay, as long as you do it before you ever step foot in a courtroom. Do not show up to court. Do not throw it away. Just return the sender and you'll be okay. Another thing I'd like to say, if you've already been served, unfortunately, then the best thing for you to do would be to start over in another state, and have the process has to start all over again. Now, it's not going to be the same because you're probably going to have a default judgment against you, but you're going to make enforcement impossible with no address and nobody having a clue where you are. And of course, working off the books is also a way to ensure that you can't be garnished once there already is a judgment against you. And that goes for anybody, not just child support. That goes for any civil judgments, any creditors. Working for cash makes it very hard to garnish anything. Or being self-employed and a 1099 independent contractor. But, so again, just make sure the whole point of this is to get it before it actually happens. And that's the very first piece of mail you get from, whatever such and such courthouse that you have, the county courthouse. The very first mail sent to you. And most baby mamas tell you that they're going to do it. They think it's this big weapon that they like to use against people. So when you hear that kind of crazy talk coming, be ready for it. And when you get it, send it back. And it's non-service. And you shouldn't have anything to worry about. And if you continue to get mail, keep sending it back. They can't do anything without proof of service. And, just make sure that you don't open it and don't throw it away, and you'll be all right. So if you have any questions, like I said, just message me. Comments will not be enabled, so we don't have a whole bunch of people fighting with each other and insulting each other, because that's not the purpose of this video. The purpose is to inform people of how to work their rights so that they don't wind up in a situation that they can't get out of, because that's what the system wants. The system wants you stuck where you can't get out and you become a debt slave and you continually have to pay something that you can't afford, that you, in cases where you're not even the biological father. They got people that aren't even the biological father stuck paying for kids that they're not even the father of, and they can care less. So there's a lot of things that are happening that nobody's bothering to fix. So the second best thing is to play them at their own game. And this is the way to do it legally. This is the way to legally get out of paying child support. So again, return the sender. Back in the mailbox. Don't open it. Don't throw it away. And you'll be good. The only other thing I would say before ending the video is check your local laws regarding process of service. And make sure that your jurisdiction, wherever you live, serves by mail. Very important. Because if you do live in a jurisdiction where a sheriff or county deputies serve you, that's going to be a whole nother ball game, because unlike process servers, you cannot lie to a sheriff's officer. So me personally, if I never lived in a jurisdiction like that, but if I did, I would probably just leave that jurisdiction immediately. This way to avoid the whole thing in general. Avoidance is the key here, if you haven't figured it out already. You want to avoid the situation in general. You don't want to say, yeah, but let's see what happens, because I can tell you what happens. You're going to have your license taken. You're going to have every dollar you own taken. You're going to have anything of value stripped down. And you're going to have your rights taken away like you're a second-class citizen. And it's, again, there's more than enough evidence of that going on. You can watch a channel on here called Veteran in Politics, and it's all about the Clark County, Las Vegas, Nevada family court system. And the kind of things you see on there would make your head spin. And if those people had listened to my advice that I give now, or if I would have given this advice sooner, those people wouldn't be in the situation they're in right now. So I want to get this information out there, and what you do with it is up to you. But it's very simple. It's legal. There is no law that says you have to accept the process of service. The only thing you cannot do is, of course, lie to the police if they're the ones serving you. So if you live in a jurisdiction like that, get yourself out of there right away. Other than that, process servers, the mail people, the USPS, you have no legal obligation to be truthful with them. And of course, you don't have to stay in the same place. You are allowed to move. And it makes everything a lot different. So take the information, do what you want with it, spread it around. It's about time this information got spread around anyway. And if you have any more questions for me, just message me.